Am I live? Oh, I forgot to. And now you see exactly why I consider myself to be a really bad streamer. Didn't even bother clearing the stream chat, which I didn't realize was going to actually show up. Hello everyone, Multidark Samus is here and welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. You do realize that clearing the chat doesn't have any effect on... Hold on, I'm going to attempt to do this without crashing. There, I cleared it. And I didn't crash OBS for once. Alright, so, announcement. Today starts the first day that I stream only to Twitch and not to YouTube. And with that, I'm going to close the stream now that I know that everything's working. So, yeah, I'm live on Twitch and there's no YouTube support anymore. Thank you, Restream, for pushing me in this direction, which I was going to go anyways in the future. Thank you, Chatty, for notifying me that I'm live over 1.5 minutes later. Anyways, usual disclaimer, any and all any and all spoilers resulted in instant ban, and I still haven't fixed that. I forgot to fix it. That's what happens when you start getting set up 15 minutes before the stream, only to realize that you still have all of the settings to fix. I might still be missing some stuff, there's some other stuff I want to fix with it, but all in all, one day at a time, I guess. Anyways, any and all spoilers will result in an instant ban. Bans will be revoked at the end of the game. Multiple offenses will result in a 1-year ban from the chat. Anything I'm missing? I don't think I'm missing anything, so let's jump right back into it. When we left off, I had just started the trial. And I already hate the prosecution. Haven't hated someone like this since since Manfred von Karma. Also, I left off right before this. I really wanted to get through this, but I was like, I don't want to get caught in the middle of a cross-examination. I just want to double... Oh, I don't have the notes anymore. Objection, I don't have an autopsy report. There's my autopsy report. I couldn't remember if I had been given it yet, so I was like, obviously autopsy report is going to be really important here. But he was asleep.
Objection!
Oh, again with the not so fast. Whoa, oh, right. Ow. I'm also in pain today, which is probably why my energy levels are slightly lower than normal. I'm tired and in pain from working yesterday. My back hurts. Oh, it sucks. Well, I guess he's resigning immediately. I mean, we already know that the defendant can't be guilty because that's never how it is, except for that one time when it was. But I doubt he's going to show up and be like, no, find me guilty so that I don't get killed by the assassin that I blackmailed. Objection. Wait, who heard that? I saw that. That's not gonna be in here. Nope. Oh, those don't. Wait, it is. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Oh, that's a good one. That's funny. There's no gossiping in my court. They're not a fashion statement. I don't agree with that. He turned his back on us. This guy should be illegal. Ah, updated. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure we already had that from the investigation. Oh good, finally, cross-examination. That took way too long. Oh, hold on. I should press. I should present the attorney's badge. Objection! I'm an attorney. God damn it, Apollo, you suck at your job. I'm holding it here because this is just a creepy animation. Alright, I'm back. Having voice problems now. Claptrap. Oh my god, the game is insinuating stuff. The weapon was a spear. It was a long spear. It killed someone. There were fingerprints on it. The end.
Hold it!
Stop slamming your finger into your head. It's very disrespectful. Pointy finger. Oh, he turned his back on us again. He was unconscious. They do.
Hold it!
Just gonna press on everything. Okay, it was only inside because I was about to be like, are we sure that the sedative was in the coffee and not already on his lips? Perhaps from a stamp that he licked? To send a letter that would later be forged and then discarded as evidence because it was forged. But this was inside the coffee, or at least inside the cup. That seems really odd. Is this guy a samurai? I didn't like Prosecutor Gavin that much either. But I didn't absolutely hate him like I hate this guy.
Hold it!
Alright, here's my new argument. My new argument is he was too buff to be stabbed. The spear would have broken right off his muscles. I don't know what the contradiction is yet. You get some great stuff when you press every single statement. Oh.
Hold it!
What if the prosecutor is the murderer? Oh wait, it's not him because it's LaBelle. This guy's an idiot. And I know idiots. I'm on Reddit all the time now.
Objection!
looking. Might be this. Well, I see two contradictions right here. There's the fact that he's on the table, which strikes me as odd, because if he had been stabbed, it just doesn't make sense.
Objection!
Nope. That is a new one. Unless it wants me to... Oh, there's the microphone. Did I already do the object? Whatever.
Objection!
No? Game, send help. Alright, there's one other objection that I have, but it relies on
Objection!
Never second guess yourself. Never second guess yourself! The only reason I didn't go with this one first is because my thought was that the contradiction that I saw, which is that they couldn't lift fingerprints, clearly that wouldn't make sense if he wasn't wearing gloves. There would be fingerprints on it. And he couldn't have wiped the fingerprints off of it, he was dying. Are there actually people in my chat? Anyways, so my thought was if I presented the photo first, they'd be like, where's the problem? Then I'd present the statue, but I guess I need to present the statue first. Sorry, double checking some stuff. Okay, but yeah, I guess it was the statue. What do I know? I should have seen this coming too. This is such an obvious contradiction. How did I miss this? And then I went with autopsy report because I figured if he's in a drug-induced sleep, there's no way that being stabbed would wake him up enough for him to strike back. Anyways, I find it really hard to believe that he could have possibly just gotten up and then struck his attacker with a spear sticking out of him, and the fact that he had just woken up. What do I know though? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a full-time employee. Where did my life go so wrong? See, I was right though. My thought process was accurate. I just wasn't. My presenting was terrible. Alright, we're going to get to hear the objection. Are we going to get to hear him shout objection? Oh my god, these animations are great. I love them. They're so weird. Best animations. This game needs a volume. I don't know what the word is. It's the loudest part of the game is the people in the background. Oh, hey, I never actually noticed this. You can see the people in the background. I didn't realize that. I also fixed my secondary monitor having the color issues by simply changing the settings. I changed the setting to game to reset the custom settings I put, and then I just dropped the backlight. Well, alright, so here's the thing. The volume in the game is perfectly fine, except during the people. Also, chat isn't showing up, so thanks for that, Streamlabs. I swear, I still have chat enabled. What the fuck, OBS? I need a new streaming system, apparently. I thought that the update would fix all the crashes that I get, but it's now crashing randomly. I may need to switch. I may need to update the particular, I may need to update the web browser plugin, because that's, who knows how old. That's a couple years old, though. It's at least 2 years old. Anyway, I think I'm back. It says I'm live. Are we good? Yeah, looks good. But no, when the... what do they call it? The people in the stands. I don't think I've ever gotten this sentence out because I can't think of what they're called. Anyways, they're allowed. Maybe I should just go back to streaming Metroid. I have a lot less problems streaming Metroid. He humphed at me. Look at me while being dismissive. Well, I imagine so. This is the second case. We're not playing games anymore. This is real. For a game, it's real. I don't know. I don't think he knows the difference. I'm going with to wrap the statue. I think I just screwed myself over with that. No, there's still one hole. I just don't know what the next contradiction is. Homicidal maniac indeed. Well, I mean, you have to do... Everyone has to pitch in, and he already has experience working with knives. And other sharp instruments. Why not? I never get attached to holes. They always fill them in with random bullshit that makes no sense. Also, now I have to keep track of the time myself instead of using OBS because it crashed. But then it also only ever crashes when I mess with the web browser plugin that I have installed, so I may need to go back and fix that. It's entirely possible that the issue just comes down to it's outdated and might use API calls that are removed. I don't know. Oh, this is easy. I love it. I love it when our answer is the real killer. Not naming names or anything, just the real killer did it. Which, in all fairness, for the defense, works because our entire basis is that our client is not guilty, which means he's not the real killer. So I guess it works for the defense. I just find it funny that the response, when prompted and everything, is usually the real killer. Or there was a third person in the room. And a fourth and fifth person. I don't remember that full dialogue section. I just remember that that was funny. Okay, Athena, back down a little bit.
Objection!
She's just smiling there, and Apollo's shouting objection. Also, the defense objects to the defense. This is not the first time it has happened. I believe in Apollo Justice Trial 1. Kristoff objects to Apollo. And then Apollo was like, yeah, but I'm leading the defense, which means you can't object. Or the judge said that. Or I dreamt it and believe that that is reality. I agree with the judge that we don't have time for this. Oh god, she's gonna report me to Mr. Wright. He's gonna put on his beanie again and be really ugly the rest of the game. Oh no. But why would he do that if he clearly tried to pin the blame on the mayor? Will that head shake though? I'm not gonna report that to Mr. Wright. My seniority is falling apart. Yeah, probably, considering the fact that in Japanica, the prosecution always wins. Except when the samurai wins. Because the samurai always wins. I feel like these people have gone crazy to believe that there's a demon locked in it. Oh, who am I kidding? I've been at this for 4 or 5 streams now. It's not surprising anymore, these people are idiots.
Hold it! Objection!
I think I just found my least favorite objection. Even worse than the objection of that one prosecutor who no one remembers the name of. What was his name? It was the rookie killer or something like that. His name's not important. What is important is the fact that this objection is worse than that. Oh yeah, Winston Payne. Also, I got chat working again. Just required crashing OBS accidentally.
Objection! Objection!
This is just... I don't like this objection. I can't put my finger on it. There's just something about it that I do not like. What if he wasn't killed in that room and was killed somewhere else at a different time? I somehow doubt that that's that's the conclusion we're going to reach. I have a feeling that all of this did happen in that room. Says the judge. No. Okay, good. We have a cross-examination again. I don't think I noticed the dots there, because they were moved from where they were in Apollo Justice. There's a slight delay to switching between the two and the dots appearing. That's confusing. But as most of my streams end up going really in-depth with technology and computer science-y stuff, I'm not going to explain why I think that's confusing and why I can't imagine why they would choose to do it this way. I'll just stick with that's weird.
Hold it!
I have an issue with this statement.
Objection!
There being no reason for the murder. Well, I guess we're trying to prove no motive. Wait, did I just accidentally press on the right statement in order to progress the game? Yes, I did. I'm really good at this game. I couldn't think of a contradiction, so I pressed because that's what the games have taught me. Oh, he turned around. It's just the shackle noises and everything is fantastic. Alright, I think I'm going to take a trip into the settings really quickly and see if I can figure this out. Oh, that's loud. Wait, there are no settings. There's no options. that's not really a motive. I mean, I guess arguably it's a motive, but you're assuming that he's so adamant about this merger that he would murder the main opposition, which just seems crazy. I guess I'm not a murderer, though. Does that seem normal? Would a murderer think that that's a normal reason to kill someone? I don't know, I think I've heard worse reasons, so... Wait. I didn't get the blackmail letter? How does he have the blackmail letter? Oh right, the blackmail letter disappeared. That's why, I forgot it disappeared. So how did you get the blackmail letter? Oh. Can I object with this? I have too much evidence! Techie, you were right. They'll load you with evidence. Look, I'm already on 3 pages of evidence, and we're barely anywhere into this. Oh, I see where he's going.
Objection!
I had a feeling that since they brought up the idea that he had planted the evidence prior to committing murder, at that point I'd pretty much figured that there'd be a contradiction there. And the contradiction would have to be with the photo. I'm not entirely certain what the contradiction is, aside from, say, the footsteps. Or, you know, the blood. But I knew that that would be it. Yes, I do. And he's going to prove it, yes. Hold on. I find this touchscreen control to be really weird. So it moves relative to where you tapped the screen. But you can also somewhat go off the screen. This little green screen thing, anyways. Wait a minute. So him being injured, I don't think does. But I think... I get that. I just think that it works weird. I don't really like the controls, but then, you know, you gave me an analog stick, and I'm happy with this. Alright, so... there's no way. There's just gotta be an oversight.
Take that!
I saw it, though. Wait, nope, never mind, I'm dumb. I saw something and then forgot to piece all the evidence together. Hold on, alright. Did you get this first try too? That's not auto-filling. I mean, I'd go with blood.
Take that!
The only thing I could think of was blood. Why would there be blood? And I second-guessed myself again. It's like, there's no way that it's because the feathers are on top of the blood. That's too obvious. I think I was thinking about that earlier, and then I got all confused because they started... Wow, this prosecutor's good, even I'm struggling. But then I've always wanted to be a prosecutor, not a defense attorney. But, you know, Edgeworth Investigations wasn't quite the same. Edgeworth Investigations was... I want to be on the other side of the courtroom. I don't want to be the guy walking around collecting evidence and crap. I want to be the guy shouting objection and being like, the defendant is guilty. Not the guy who goes out and finds that the defendant is guilty. Investigation should have been done from the view of Detective Gumshoe, not Miles Edgeworth. Just with the way that it was done. Now, I love Edgeworth more than the next guy. But that game really doesn't fit well to just what I would have expected from him. A fun game, don't get me wrong, it's just... I would have liked to be on the other side of the courtroom, and the only time you're in a courtroom is when you are cross-examining the judge. And not during a trial. That was a fun one though. The judge looks at you and is like, this is the first time I've ever been on the receiving end of a cross-examination. It's hard. I need to rethink my life. God, I felt so bad though, trying to prove that the judge was false. That the judge was lying inadvertently. I heard the gunshot. It was loud. No, what you heard was a balloon popping. Not a gunshot. Ergo, you're lying. Investigations really did have some great stuff in there. Just somewhat difficult to get through. I don't think I've seen this animation yet. So, ignoring the fact that I objected and said, we can't base our entire defense on there being a yokai that's out killing people. And now I'm trying to prove that it's the yokai? Even Fulbright's like, you're an idiot. Oh, thank God it's not deafening me with really loud yelling. Objection. So he does recognize that my last name is Justice, which he hasn't really mentioned at all yet. It hasn't really come up at all the times that we've discussed Justice and the fact that Apollo's last name is Justice. It never really came up, the fact that it was ironic, but now he's like, now he wants to reference it to make fun of me.
Hold it!
I am delirious from exhaustion, but I'm not the defense attorney. Isn't it a bit early to hold me in contempt of court? Did I miss something? No one except for Athena has directly mentioned being held in contempt of court or kicking me out. I mean, I could see the implication off of telling the court that the defense attorney is delirious from exhaustion, but at the same time, the judge hasn't mentioned holding him in contempt, only asked that he explain where he's going with this. So why is Athena overreacting, and why is Apollo overreacting? God, these people suck. Because reasons. I'm actually shocked at how quickly this worked. Ow, my back. Ow, I can't adjust my sitting position, apparently. Ow. Have I mentioned I'm in pain? Ow, fuck. For reference, I was, working yesterday to make a little bit of money. And, I ended up doing some work outside, pulling weeds, which I, like an idiot, decided to do by hand because I could. And I figured it would be easier, not, you know... My thought process was, I don't want to tear up the ground too much, so I'm just going to pull them by hand, so that I can pull them by the roots, and pull the roots out so that they don't come back quickly. Which I did, and I did a really good job of. Unfortunately, being both tall and not... I already have a bad back. I wasn't wearing my back brace because I don't think I had it with me. I should have. So, yeah, now I'm suffering today. I've been in pain all day. It's been coming and going on different parts of my body, my legs, my arm. Just my left arm. But mostly in my lower left back. Well, just the left side of my back. So that's just that, you know. In case anyone cared.
Objection!
He objected. I'm starting to find his objection funny. Not in a good way. Just funny. Sorry, I'm trying to figure something out. Oh. Yeah, that took a second for me to figure out. And by second, I mean over an hour. Man, these games really like to call people fops. I just need to verify something. Yes, I am allowed to say that on stream. I mean, it's accurate. I'm pretty sure it's a derogatory term, but it does refer to people who are very concerned with their appearance, especially in clothing. I mean, I'd argue Prosecutor Gavin maybe not quite. I don't know, to me that seems more like trying to appear upper class and fancy or rich. Wealthy, I guess, but Kristoff just dressed like a rock star and didn't really care. And I don't know. I mean, I think at a technical level that does work. I mean, yeah, definition is a man who is concerned with his clothes and appearance in an effective and excessive way, so I guess it does work to describe him. Just, to me, from a connotative perspective, it seems inaccurate. Well, I would've. I've been wanting to bring LaBelle up to the stand, and this guy. And there's a particular reason I wanted to bring this guy up. Actually, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Between Apollo's magical bracelet and Athena's widget, we should be able to pull all the information that he's been hiding from us. And apparently our magical abilities only work in a court of law and don't work outside of the court of law, except for that one time when it did. Gotcha! So he knows. I'm more concerned with the fact I'm more concerned with the fact that he literally just said, like, I don't care what you do. As if he truly doesn't believe that we are capable of pulling information that will turn the case around for us. Or he just doesn't care. Kinda strikes me as the guy who's just like, I'm just a prosecutor, but I don't really care. Or perhaps the issue is that he's so certain about his abilities that nothing we do will change because he can just change the minds of the entire court, apparently. Worst prosecutor I've ever met. Aside from Von Karma. Manfred Von Karma. Oh yeah, he said your lordship, which is just weird. I think this detective needs to go back to training for common sense. I mean, he's had his shoes stolen twice now and he hasn't figured it out. You're on our ship. Spoken like a true thief. Take him if you want him, I don't care. At least he's upholding his ethics, even if I'm pretty sure he's only doing it so that we don't think he's bad. Witness testimony. The text just skipped. Interesting. I see a potential objection, but I really doubt they're going to let me get away with it. Oh, good, we got bracelet working. Wait, so I'm gonna have to deal with 2 gimmicks in this game? I'm actually going to have to deal with flipping between 2 gimmicks instead of just 1. Wow. Not only am I going to have to remember how to use the bracelet, but I'm also going to have to remember how to use widget, and I think I've already forgotten, but I might be able to figure it out. Plus, it'll probably walk me through it until the last case, in which it will just throw the world at me and expect me to get by on my own. Because that's what Apollo Justice did. Apollo Justice, where they give you all the answers to how to use the bracelet and when to use the bracelet, except in the final case when no one helps you use the bracelet. Why is he rubbing his arm? He didn't do that before. He even said cohort, which is usually negative. Poor house bird. I'm going to refuse to comment on this sentence. Except to say this. How does he know that I have power? Hey, run for the hills! Except the unfortunate thing is that when I first made the reference to the Iron Maiden song, it's run to the hills, not run for the hills. Also, the only song off of the Number of the Beast album that I like. Although I am considering putting the full album on my insanely long 24-hour long Spotify playlist. Just to have more Iron Maiden. Because having four albums on there isn't enough. Well, I only have 3 Halloween albums on there and 2 Sonata Arctica albums. I should have more than those. Let's just keep throwing albums on there. Throw more music. I don't know when I'm ever going to have time to listen through all of the playlists, although I have heard every single song in there at least once. That might not be entirely true. There might be some songs on there for... Might be some songs for albums I put on there just to have more of a particular band that I haven't listened to. because there's just so many, and I don't listen to the stuff I don't recognize. But there's some music off of some albums that I like enough that I go in and add the entire album and then never listen to it because I just want to listen to the stuff I know that I enjoy. Oh my god! You can see its talons on his head! I think I just found my favorite part of the game. Where's my screenshot button? I didn't take a screenshot. Wait, this isn't my 2DS. That's okay, I'll just take the screenshot and then copy it onto my computer. Except I can't, because I don't know how. Techie. I'm on a live stream right now. Using... You know what? I don't think it matters, given the fact that it's already pretty obvious I'm using custom firmware just to stream this game, because obviously you can't stream off of a... Well, I don't know. Can you stream off of a non-custom... Totally legitimate original Nintendo firmware? I don't know enough, so I'm just gonna stop talking now. But also Rosalino... I think that's Rosalina's menu. That's the one that I go... So then you would need custom firmware. Well, anyways, But I actually accidentally took a screenshot and it froze the 2DS for a good 30 seconds or so, so I'm really not in the mood, but I was wondering why it was making noise. I hadn't looked at the top screen. The hawk is scratching itself. So I guess I just object with her statements. Yes, they are very slow. As I said, 30 seconds at least, the 2DS was frozen. I thought it was completely frozen, so I hit the power button, and then... I don't know, but also it half the time the DS crashes when I start loading up NTR boot to do the streaming. Also, I haven't noticed any issues today, and I haven't really messed with anything. I haven't seen the entire screen flicker, like it was 2 days ago, which was a Tuesday. 2 days ago. I apologize. I would like to personally apologize for that terrible pun. It was uncalled for, it was unnecessary, and probably offensive. And it's probably not the last time I'll do it. But it could also be several months before I do it again, because there's no telling if I'm going to set myself up. Alright. So we're finally on to the cross-examination. And it's finally time that I deliver the boot to the head.
Hold it!
A fish! A fish would be fishy looking. Did he just pull water out of his pocket? Hold on, I need to watch this animation. No, I think it's lint. Or salt. At first I thought it was water and I was just like, what? Well, if he's lying, then there's a contradiction. Well, it's time. Boot to the head! There was no contradiction there. But I had a thought. Alright. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna need to look at a map. Maybe. So if he was keeping watch here, he wouldn't have noticed anything. I need to double check some information. Oh! Duh! I have this. I don't know which statement to present this on.
Objection!
Boot to the head! Alright, I want to hack this game and replace Apollo's objection with boot to the head. I'm gonna need to hire Apollo's English voice actor to shout boot to the head with the enthusiasm of objection. So I can plug that into the game. And then I'm going to change the objection sprite, because I think it's a sprite. Pretty sure it renders on the front sprite layer. Anyways, just render that as boot to the head. And that's it, that's the only change I would make. Get all the tools and everything required to hack a 3DS game, to hack this 3DS game. And the only change I want to make is replace objection with boot to the head, but only for Apollo. Which doesn't make sense, because in the video it's actually Phoenix Wright shouting boot to the head. So, you know. Are we tired of the boot to the head joke yet? Because I'm not. I'm keeping this going. We're gonna bring... I got distracted by my microphone picking up noises that did not exist. And I don't know where those voices are. Sounds. Not necessarily voices, just sounds. It's picking up something and I can't figure it out. Like, the only thing I can hear is my computer fan, and it's not picking that up. Anyways. I'm going to keep this going. It's going to become a really big meme, and then people are going to go look at the history of it and find out that it originated in like 2007. Possibly sooner. Not too much sooner, though. Couldn't have originated... No, actually, I think the static is just due to the poor quality of the microphone. But it's not the computer fan, because if I go completely silent, it does not pick up the computer at all. Okay, I think it's picking up my breathing a little bit. Thought I wouldn't fix that. It doesn't pick it up all the time, but every once in a while I think it picks up my breathing, and I'm wondering if that's what the sound is. It could also be picking up the sound of my computer when I talk, but that's simply due to the noise gate. The noise gate doesn't negate any of the background noise happening. It simply refuses to accept that as input unless it reaches past a certain volume, which should be set approximately at the sound of my voice a little bit softer than this. Also, out of curiosity, Techie, can I present this piece of evidence anywhere in this testimony, or did I just so happen to get it right at the right statement? Because there are a couple of statements in there that look like I could present this. And so I'm not sure if I just got lucky and guessed the right one, or if it's literally just there's no way to fail this, unless you present the wrong evidence. Also, I just figure if he doesn't know, it'll be a shock. And if anyone can guess what that's from, who isn't Techie, because I think I've showed him that video. If anyone can guess what that's from, though, you get a point. The points mean nothing. The points mean absolutely nothing. The respect points. I respect you more the more points you have, but I don't keep track of points. And now I want to create a Twitch bot whose sole purpose is to keep track of respect points. Guess I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I admit the slacking off. I'm just kidding. Yeah, professional thief. And I believe he just admitted to watching TV. I beat you to that, Apollo, but only because I wasn't hitting the A button fast enough. Oh, because I said bald and the judge is Mr. Baldness. Your baldness. It's so offensive. It just has hair problems. I couldn't think of the right term. I was going to try to come up with something fancy.
Take that!
Oh no. Did I mess up? I think I messed up. I think I messed up. I messed up. Nope. I was hoping he'd let that one slide. I wasn't ready to get a guilty verdict yet. Time check. Almost 9:30, so about 40 minutes left on the stream. I can get through this. I can't beat this particular trial, but I can get through this. Have I mentioned I love the animations? God. So the terminal's the last thing that I have used, apparently. Except, probably cute NTR and Dolphin. It's just so beautiful. Wait, really? It's gonna put me right back here?
Take that!
That was my other guess, was this. I didn't second guess myself this time though. I honestly thought it was the other piece of evidence. What are you feeding your cat? Because it looks like bags. Have I mentioned I'm super excited for the super secret stream that I intend to do later on? Collaboration with Techie? I am super excited for it. Just waiting until we can do it. I haven't opened up Steam in a while, so maybe there's an update waiting for me. I'm hoping there's an update waiting so that I can play with the Windows version, and hope that the Windows version doesn't update, because then we'd be stuck waiting for Linux and Mac OS X to update, or waiting until I get a computer that runs Windows, which is not happening with the one I have right now.
Objection!
Bird. He questions, so I'm starting to, I'm pressing X to doubt. It's not working. Oh, because my bracelet isn't spinning. That's an interesting way to phrase that. Well, I didn't hear anybody walk by, but that's because I wasn't in that house at the time. Apparently I missed the part where you sent a message here that said it's been a while since you've played this case, you can't remember many details. When I sent my correction to the statement above that. Also, this sound effect is starting to annoy me. Wait a second. The penalty is bird attacks? Is that legal? First you're all like, I can't accept your gift, I have ethics to uphold, and now you're like, bird attacks. I will personally allow that bird to attack you if you lie, as opposed to holding you in contempt of court like a normal judge. Oh, who am I kidding? Mute this. Who am I kidding though? There's a bird in the courtroom. We've already thrown everything normal out the window. Oh good, another witness testimony. I was so worried we wouldn't get enough of this guy. I'm not gonna lie though, I'd rather deal with this guy than LaBelle. But we all know where this is headed. It's headed right to the guy who I don't want to cross-examine. I want to use my magical powers. So, what you're telling me is that Australia lacks common sense. The game said it, not me. I'm just translating what the game is saying. I laughed way too hard at that. I swear, I try not to do some of the more annoying memes. Some of the more overplayed ones, like Australia being upside down. Just kind of a boring one, but come on, he set me up for it. I'm not gonna say no to that. That was a good setup. Have we already seen the sign for the end times of the legal world? I believe it's called the initial trial system. It's the trial system we're using right now. I miss the jurist trial system. I really don't. It was neat. It was a fun idea. It was also not a great idea and led to me questioning the game quite a bit before I finally sat back and said, you know what, screw it. It makes no sense. And the obvious actual chronology of events was very different from that of what Phoenix Wright presented with the, Why do I forget things? The Mason system. And I think that from an in-universe look at the Mason system, it was designed to have the jurists think about what was going on, as opposed to just giving them all the answers. It forced them to focus on all the information and piece everything together. It wasn't so much that he was capable of time travel and bringing items from the future into the past and stuff. Actually, it starts to make sense when you start thinking about it being a puzzle game. Because it was that. For the jurists, the Mason system was a sort of interactive game. As opposed to a non-interactive game. Well, those exist. I don't have it on this computer. But there is a non-interactive game, and I love it to death. Because the only interaction is creating your character, and the game does everything else. Doesn't use AI at all. It literally just selects random stuff, outputs data, and changes numbers on the screen. It really doesn't do that much. I did a bit of reverse engineering on it, because it's open source, so I guess that's not really reverse engineering so much as porting it to Python. And yeah, it was really simple. Granted, I either ported it to Python or C++ based on the other language's port that someone else had done. And then I just abandoned it. Anyways, the whole idea that the Mason system forces a connection between the events of the past and present by having the jurist actually manually connecting all the pieces together. So in order to figure out who gave her the bottle of nail polish, as opposed to just saying she had the bottle of nail polish, which Phoenix Wright already knew about at that time, it forces the jurist to make the connection by going to the future, or present technically. Go to the present, look at the nail polish, get it added to the inventory, go to the past, and then present it. As opposed to just saying the obvious thing that we could all see on the table, but it forces them to think and make the connections between the two in order to find What's-His-Face guilty. I say What's-His-Face, I know his name, it's Christoph Gavin. I knew that. I've mentioned him a lot this stream because he made for a very great villain. Of all the people in these games who broke the law, he is One of my favorites just because of how ridiculous it was. Everything that happened for 7 years came down to just how messed up he was. He committed He almost committed double homicide because he lost a game of poker. Actually, it would have been triple. Because he did commit double homicide. It would have been triple if he hadn't been found guilty, then she would have died because reasons. I went back and actually did get to see it, but I also was told what happened and looked it up and everything. But, he committed double homicide because he lost a game of poker. And it just, his character perfectly showcases how screwed up some people are. He makes a very great villain. So does Manfred, though, because he did something similar. Manfred committed murder on the defense attorney who got him his only strike on his record. But this guy went even further than that. It was just, I lost a game of poker, so I killed him 7 years later. And I intended to kill 2 other people. I was just getting to that, because, yeah. But all the events that happened for 7 years pretty much happened because he failed to win a game of poker. He had planned to kill Misham, and I believe he had planned to kill Misham and had planned to kill his daughter. Because both of them were the only ones who could prove that he had used forged evidence. And then he failed a game of poker, so 7 years later he killed the guy who told him that he couldn't be his defense attorney. But still, he's the perfect level of evil. So evil that he recognizes that it's impossible to find him guilty under the initial trial system because there was no direct evidence pointing to him. He was very careful about it. All of that to say that Christoph Gavin is probably my favorite. What? My favorite. He's my favorite murderer in these games. That would be Sight. I don't think it's that. But it gave me a thought, which is that Jinxie hasn't been brought up by him. I'm gonna start pressing.
Hold it!
Because I don't think I can present an objection quite yet. That's a criminal offense. As I believe the judge. As the judge says in Turnabout Musical, forgery is a criminal offense. And now in my head I'm trying to figure out which song that's from, so that I can piece all the words together, because I don't think it's from the spoof song. I think that's... maybe... I think that's actually from one of the main songs. I can't piece it together. Wow, Turnabout. Turnabout Musical is... wait. Turnabout Musical is still going on? They made one for Justice for All in 2016. How did I not know this? How did I not know that Turnabout Musical still existed? Alright, well, now I want to listen to it, but anyways.
Hold it!
Maybe we had discussed that. It's possible that we had discussed that in school one day, because I think we'd looked at the Turnabout Musical project and had determined they were still going with it, despite the lack of new stuff after several years. Because it seemed like they were only going to stick to the first game, but I think they had at one point announced that they were working on the second game. So, I don't know. I can't find their website anymore. That kind of sucks. I would have liked to see their website again. That's a spear. I don't want to be wrong.
Objection!
No, I didn't think so. Maybe I need to press that statement.
Hold it!
I have another idea. It's a piece of evidence we haven't presented, and I haven't even looked at. And it was this.
Objection!
I was thinking, even when making a terrible decision, I was thinking, wait a minute. We're still not trying to prove that he did pass by. What we're trying to prove is that he's wrong. Because he doesn't have a staff. See, I could have objected with that.
Objection!
He used it. He hasn't even gone to the scroll yet. He used the other thing that I objected with first. Times where I feel like the games are unfair because, like, I object with one thing and Phoenix Wright is like, well, according to this other piece of evidence that if you present, you get penalized for. According to that other piece of evidence, you're wrong. And then he pulls in the evidence you actually objected with. Well, back in my day, you started with the evidence you objected with, and then you moved on to supplement it with other evidence. And by back in my day, I don't even refer to Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Ace Attorney Trilogy. Because Ace Attorney Trilogy did the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Not sure about the first game. But I'm pretty sure in the second and third game there are sections where Phoenix Wright will pull out a different piece of evidence instead of the piece that you presented. I wonder if it's left over from the initial design phases where they had decided that they were going a slightly different route and then they changed the story and changed the evidence but didn't bother changing the scripts. Not completely. I doubt it. I like to think that Capcom puts a little bit of effort into their games. Because oftentimes they do. Oh look, we finally have this. I don't want to be wrong and I don't want to get penalized. But I kind of want to see what happens, so I'm going to see what happens. I'm not even expecting any good responses from this. I just like the fact that Apollo Justice said it. I didn't want that penalty, I just wanted to laugh and have fun. Why so serious? I know the answer to this, you can stop... You can stop berating me now. Obviously, he saw Ten Mataro. Objection! Excellent, I do like this song. Wait a minute. I need to verify something. Okay, I was right. This is Apollo Justice's objection theme from Apollo Justice. This isn't the new theme. Although it is a remix. Makes sense that this was a 3DS game. not a port to the 3DS. Actually, yeah, it was ported to 3DS. Apollo Justice. We have the 3DS port because it has 3DS support, I believe. It does. I just haven't used it. And now I really want to listen to the Apollo Justice Cornered theme. I'm starting to think that this Tinmataro? I'm starting to think that this isn't his first rodeo, kid. Well, of course. It's important. Wait! They have a book titled Village Superstitions? Oops. There's literally a book called Village Superstitions, which seems pretty fake to me. Oh, but he's left the village. Objection, you left the village. You are required by law to believe these superstitions. Interesting. I think it is LaBelle. I have plenty of reason to suspect him. And I'm starting to wonder what all he's done disguised as Tinmataro in order to avoid getting found guilty.
Objection!
I also like this pursuit theme, but I really want the Apollo Justice pursuit theme. What? Can someone explain this sentence to me? Because I feel like this sentence is not structured correctly. Alright, I'm gonna try saying it out loud and see if I can figure out the inflections and the way that you're supposed to say it so that it actually means something. And with that, using some silly fairy tales so easily exposed the culprit. And with that, using some silly fairy tales so easily expose the culprit. Hold on. Is it just me, or does this sentence actually not make sense? Okay, so it's not just me. This sentence does not mean anything. Unless you replace some of the words. I mean, for the most part, the game's okay. It's got some typos here and there, words missing. But then, this does look like a sentence that would go through Google Translate. I expected more from you, Capcom, but this sentence is not English. I stand by the fact that this sentence means nothing. I'm requesting that it be struck from the record, and that his head be struck with a boot. As the executor of Mr. Muldoon's estate, I have been given power. Executor of Mr. Muldoon's estate, I have been empowered to read his last will and testament. Oh right, boot to the head. I'm covering up my head! I don't want no boot to the head. Covering up my head. And that guy is also the only guy who actually got something from that will. Aside from 2 boots to the head. And 1 for Ginny and the Wimp. Ah! I've been missing an entire section. I've been missing the end one for Ginny and the Wimp. Anyways.
Objection!
Can you come up with a more rational sentence? I just want to point out, he's like, you'll need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that. After saying, and would they using some silly fairy tale so easily expose the culprit? If I spoke Japanese, I would actually translate that sentence into Japanese and see if it makes perfect sense, but as I don't speak or understand Japanese, I wouldn't be able to tell. I can't just translate it back. Don't mind me. Theoretically, this shouldn't do anything. Also, they changed Google Translate a little bit, not much. Oh my god, I actually got a viable sentence out of Google Translate. And it will easily expose the culprit by using foolish fairy tales, which makes more sense. So apparently this game wasn't fed through Google Translate because Google Translate actually gives you a sentence that works. It's still a little questionable, but so in essence what I'm getting from Google Translate, the same Google Translate who says you have no friends and gradually watermelon, what he's trying to say is that the culprit would be exposed by using those fairy tales, which I don't think we have any basis to even assume that that's true. Google Translate managed to take a Google translated text and return it to English. I love it. But yeah, Apollo gets it. That common sense doesn't that doesn't really prove anything. What you've now said is that it would easily prove the person who committed murder because they were using the fairy tales, but no, because it could be anyone at all in that village could be lying about their belief in it and using it to strike fear into people.
Objection!
Yeah, that objection fits him perfectly. Maybe that's why I don't like it, it's just, it actually fits his character perfectly. And I hate him. I've heard prison isn't. You know what? I actually haven't heard that much about prison. Portal Danger, though. I mean, theoretically. Yeah, I know I have 5 minutes left. I've been keeping track of the time. He said clink. Could just point out, I also don't know what he's supposed to be. Like, he said rubbish, which would suggest British origin, but Miles Edgeworth is more British than this guy. And I believe the anime kind of suggests that he's British, but the anime doesn't get this far. The anime ends at the end of Trilogy. If it even gets that far, I don't remember. Anyways, 3 minutes, so...
Objection!
Ah, for a second there I thought it was about to break his chains. I can break these cuffs! You can't break those cuffs. Oh my god, how did it take me this long to get to that meme? How does it take you? How does it take you an entire stream? I'm still mad it doesn't cover 1.5. 1.5 is good. 1.5 is good stuff. I'm also still convinced that they didn't play through the games entirely because they do have some information that seems questionable. One of my favorite streamers said something funny that I thought was funny, but would also be kind of offensive if it did happen. So, you know, Konami lately hasn't been putting out a lot of games. And theoretically, we are not going to get another, we're not going to get another Metal Gear Solid game, probably ever. But then he said something funny, which was that, there should be a committee designated to create the next Metal Gear Solid game, but none of them have ever played Metal Gear Solid, and only know the very bare minimum required to make a Metal Gear game. And I was like, and the worst part is that would probably end up being a better game than whatever Metal Gear game we would get if it were made by the people who were involved with it, but weren't being led by the one guy who actually knew what to do. And I stand by the fact that Kojima had some very questionable decisions when it came to Metal Gear Solid. And at times, it really was questionable. But you cannot deny that that man knew what he wanted. And the execution was pretty damn perfect. The games both took themselves very seriously and were silly at the same time. A really good balance. Especially considering that when you look into the lore very closely, those games are dark. And I mean, I couldn't actually believe some of the lore I had read that is canon. And I don't know how it's canon. I think it's suggested in the audio logs of Metal Gear Solid 5. There's some very, very horrible stuff I was shocked would ever make it into a video game. But it is 10 o'clock for me at night. I need sleep. And definitely need rest, because, God, my back. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, I don't know. One final announcement. So, I had mentioned, I think yesterday, that what I intended to do was, record a local version, just in case the stream messed up at some point. Of course, OBS crashed, so what's that going to do? I'm going to have 2 local streams now. I didn't get everything set up in time today. I actually forgot to set that one up. So, stream will be uploaded tomorrow off of Twitch. Although I probably won't upload directly off of Twitch. I'll probably download it, install a video editor, and mash the two together. Because there was a crash. And I want the streams in one one piece, instead of in two. Unlike Tuesday's stream, I think, I got like a good 10 minutes or so, 10 to 20 minutes, I think. And then I had to restart the stream, and I just left it. I don't think it did get up to 10 minutes. It was like 7 to 9 or something. I don't know. So yeah, usually stream weeknights 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. Except when I don't have the time for it because my timing is based on other people. Streams do get uploaded to YouTube if you want to check them out. YouTube.com/multidarksamuses, I think. If that link doesn't actually lead anywhere, which it might not, then you could just look Multidark Samuses up on YouTube and you'll find previous streams, some YouTube recordings that are several years old and embarrass the hell out of me. Can't believe I've been doing this long. Hasn't even been that long. I jump all over the place. I know I said that I would stop plugging everything, but this will probably be one of the last times I do this. Because I intend to move to Twitch, except for uploading past broadcasts. Livestream notifications, sometimes on Twitter, sometimes not. So, yeah. See you next mission.